Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
Good morning. It is Thursday, December 25th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Snow showers this morning, peaks of sunshine this afternoon. The high is going to be 46. And then tonight and overnight, a few passing clouds, low 23. Friday is when this big snowstorm is going to come in. It begins on Friday anyway. So clouds in the morning, snow begins in the afternoon. It lasts through the night into Saturday morning. Here in the city, we could get 3 to 5 inches before the storm moves out. If you're in the northern suburbs, northwestern New Jersey, could be 7 or 8 inches before the storm moves out. But that's Friday. If you are walking out the door with us right now, it is 32 and cloudy in Hempstead out on Long Island. It's 32 and cloudy in Pennington over in New Jersey. And it's 30 and cloudy right outside our Midtown studios. Or I can do it. Oh, there we go.
5 at 5.
Yeah, that's it. Cardinal Dolan presides over his last midnight mass at St. Patrick's. Crazed shoppers kept stores open late last night. Here comes a pretty big snowstorm. The Home Alone kid on Long Island is speaking out. A Staten Island bodega worker is a pretty special guy. All right, let's get into it at 5:02. Timothy Cardinal Dolan holding his final Christmas midnight mass at St. Patrick's Cathedral early this morning. This comes after Pope Leo appointed Bishop Ronald Hicks of the Diocese of Joliet, Illinois, as the next Archbishop of New York following Dolan's retirement. Yesterday, all day, and into last night, the line wrapped around St. Patrick's Cathedral as crowds waited to get into a number of masses. The midnight mass was through a lottery, so you had to have a ticket, but people were waiting in the cold just to get inside. There were so many people, as there are every year, by the way, that people just, had to be turned away. There's only so many seats.
Just to see, the love and divinity in church and just everyone gathering together for Christmas. It just means a lot.
I think it's the epitome of Christmas, being right here in one of the oldest churches in New York.
Yeah, the other masses at St. Patrick's yesterday were open to the public, so you just had to wait in this line to get in. They included the church's regular mass schedule, and then you had the Christmas Eve family mass that they do every single year.
It was amazing. Just the music and the atmosphere and just being in New York.
It was so emotional. It was a wonderful time in this famous church.
Yeah, it is one of those bucket list items, midnight mass at St. Patrick's Cathedral, or anyone for that matter on Christmas Day. Cardinal Dolan turned 75 earlier this year, the Catholic Church's mandatory retirement age. So he submitted his retirement request to the Vatican. They don't have to accept it, by the way, but they did. He'd been serving for New York for 16 years. So a lot of the people who were waiting in line, who were made it into St. Patrick's Cathedral, did so because they wanted to see the Cardinal celebrate Christmas Mass for the last time.
We always loved him. We loved him being part of this church. But I think it's going to be good, I guess, in a way, because it's a new way of running it, new way of thinking. New is also good. It's not always bad.
Bishop Hicks will be the new Archbishop. That won't be till February, so we still have Cardinal Dolan until then.
We're going to miss him a lot. He's done great things for this community, this city. I mean, the whole country. So I'm excited for the new blood, but we always hate seeing somebody else leave.
I'm happy for him, though. He's a good person.
Bishop Hicks celebrated his final Christmas Mass in Joliet, Illinois. Here's what he had to say.
What we've both said to each other is we both have a love for Jesus and the church. I think that's foundational. It has to be a church that is listening and is understanding what all the different voices are saying and why.
Cardinal Dolan has publicly said he would like to stay in New York to continue serving the Catholic Church. He says he's gotten a lot of requests for jobs, write a book. He's gotten an offer to do a documentary. The Archbishop designate, Ronald Hicks, will take over in early February. And then you had these Christmas parades. They returned to Bethlehem for the first time since the Israeli-Hamas war yesterday.
Earlier this month, a giant Christmas tree was lit up in Manger Square in the West Bank city, which is said to be the birthplace of Jesus. Christmas celebrations had been canceled in Bethlehem since the Gaza war began in 2023, but festivities have returned after the recent ceasefire. Peace has been tentative in the occupied West Bank, which has seen a surge of Israeli settler attacks in Palestinian communities. The mayor of Bethlehem says this year's Christmas celebrations are a statement of hope. I'm Michael Kastner.
And in the Vatican, Pope Leo leading his first Christmas Mass there. Last night, he presided over the traditional Christmas Eve service at St. Peter's Basilica, his first as head of the Roman Catholic Church. In his homily, the Pope was critical of materialism, economic inequality, and social injustice. He'll deliver the traditional Christmas blessing and celebrate the Holy Mass. He's actually doing so as we speak this morning. Of course, they are 6 hours ahead. In a moment, we'll talk about some of that materialism. It was wild how many people showed up with a shopping list at the mall last night to begin their Christmas shopping with just hours until Christmas. We'll meet up with some of those in just a moment. But first, 5:07, first check of traffic and transit on this early Christmas morning. And as you might guess, it is rather easy to get around. I am looking across at cameras, across the board, across the maps of the traffic. And if you're out, if you have to work, and I'm sorry if you do, but if you have to work or you have to get somewhere, maybe you're going out for an early breakfast, going over to family, you will have no problem. Let me knock on wood. Okay, so far you have no problem. I'm looking at the bridges and tunnels, George Washington Bridge, Lincoln, Holland, A-OK. Even if you're coming from 1 and 9 into the Holland Tunnel, that is fine at this hour. There is an alert if you're taking New Jersey Transit this morning on the main Bergen County line. On the LIRR and Metro North, they are on, LIRR is on a weekend schedule. Metro North is on a special schedule this morning, so there's a difference there. And if you're taking the subways this morning, they are on a Sunday schedule. So note that they will not be moving or picking up people as they do during the weekday, a normal weekday. It is on a Sunday schedule today, but everything so far down below on the subways is fine. In the traffic desk, it is Noam Layden. Let's go back to the news desks. The clock ticking away for many last-minute shoppers who are rushing to that final purchase ahead of Christmas Day. The National Retail Federation, they say the stores are really ready for this. About 5% of Americans plan to finish their holiday shopping last night. Now, my kids went out to American Dream. That's that mega mall in East Rutherford yesterday. Why you would want to go there if you didn't have to. I guess people love the crowd, so I shouldn't say that. But they went out there and they could not believe how many people were there or how late the mall stayed open. Now, not to sound like a geezer, but when we were kids, right? Do you remember the mall closed or the stores closed at like 1 o'clock on Christmas Eve? Not anymore. There were people at American Dream last night who had a list, and some of them were willing to admit they had just begun their Christmas shopping.
Did you start today or just ending today?
Would it be bad if I said I'm starting today?
Yeah.
It's not a tradition, but that's what happens every year. So I guess so.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people who they're motivated. It's like studying for an exam an hour before it happens. I guess it's the same thing when it comes to shopping. My guess those are the same people, probably. Last minute shoppers, we found them in Herald Square last night as well.
So far, it's for the 3-year-olds. My show is going to not be a surprise, but a little sparkle station for Gia, a little horse for Gia, and a racetrack for Elijah.
Not just starting, but I always come here last minute every year.
Yeah, okay. Some shoppers who did wait to the last minute at American Dream said they actually found some bargains. Things were discounted yesterday.
A lot of 50% off and stuff, so, it's not that bad. I'm not really spending too much.
Gifts for some family members. Enjoying the view, too. It's beautiful to be in this beautiful mall.
Yeah. Of course, Christmas is more about giving back and giving to others, isn't it? So officials in Patterson yesterday spreading some holiday cheer to kids and families who don't have much ahead of Christmas Day. The New Jersey Community Development Corporation yesterday hosted its annual holiday party on Christmas Eve. They provided gifts for about 700 families in Patterson. Each child got to take home a box with 3 toys inside. The organizers say they feel like they get more out of it than the people who receive the presents, and a lot of people feel that way.
It's very important because the families are in desperate needs of love, support, and even finances. So everything that's here is donated.
There's a lot of enjoyment, happiness here. I feel the spirit, and God is good.
Now, it did look like Patterson Mayor Andre Saya was paying Santa Claus at this party yesterday, but he claims he was dealing to other matters in City Hall. I have a feeling, though, it was really Mayor Saya who was playing Christmas at this party yesterday. An East Harlem community coming together last night to remember a woman who was killed in a chain reaction garbage truck crash earlier this week. Do you remember this crash where a garbage truck hit a car, and then the car hit scaffolding on East 101st Street, and there happened to be a 75-year-old woman who was walking on the street at the early hour when this took place. Her name is Li Liang. She was killed. So last night, people who knew her said she was just a remarkable member of this community, and they thought Christmas Eve was the right time to have a vigil to remember her. So they did last night. They lit candles near where the scaffolding fell over on top of her.
This is where she resided, and, it's a loss for us. Her and her husband, always together, all the time, in and out, in and out.
Now, a spokesperson for Classic Recycling, that's the company that operates the truck, says it continues to gather information about the tragic accident. Police have not filed any charges so far, anyway, not clear whether they will. The truck driver and a passenger, they were injured in that crash. The car that they pushed into the scaffolding, there was nobody inside it. It was a parked car. But neighbors say they were stunned by Liang's death. They said she and her husband were just a huge part of the community.
And I gave him a hug. I can't speak their language, but I know that he knows that I can do all I can.
Even though they got different religion beliefs, but it's still Christmas, and it's sad to see somebody get life lost like that fast in an instant. I know the daughter's not taking it too good.
Yeah, what an unfair time to happen right around Christmas. 5:13. Maybe it was supposed to happen this way. The Powerball, nobody had won for weeks after weeks after weeks, and that was over $1.7 billion. So maybe the thought was, Christmas Eve, of course, the greatest present ever is to become a billionaire. Well, that happened. Unfortunately, it was nobody in the local area. Somebody in Arkansas won the $1.82 billion jackpot last night.
The Christmas Eve drawing had a cash value of just shy of $835 million. Winning tickets worth $1 million were sold in 7 states: California, Indiana, Michigan, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Yeah, it's better when someone locally wins. Not everybody was home with their families last night celebrating Christmas. Starbucks workers here in the city took to the walkout, the picket line. This is the strike that, began back on what they called Red Cup Rebellion Day, this national labor action against Starbucks. It began in the mid-November. Well, last night, you had some of these baristas who, instead of spending time with their family, were on the picket line telling people not to go to the Starbucks. That's that huge Starbucks, the Reserve Roastery in Chelsea. It's one of the biggest Starbucks, I think, in the country. Well, they stood outside there, were trying to convince customers not to go in.
They do tend to just haphazardly schedule you.
Right now, we want to fight for fair consistency and obviously a living, working schedule and wage.
Starbucks says the union walked away from negotiations and notes it has reached more than 30 tentative agreements with stores across the country. They say, of course, they want to do so with the one Reserve Roastery in Chelsea as well. Psychology Today says the odds are pretty high there will be a family tiff some point today on Christmas.
Psychologists say a majority of families will experience arguments over Christmas. One poll says 68% expect a battle, 40% expect to have open disagreements, and 2/3 will have at least one minor spat. Most will be over politics, some based on past grievances, with many fights expected to be about who will do the dishes. Alcohol will play a role in most fights. Psychologists say, know your personal triggers and know when to walk away. I'm Bree Tennis.
All right, and once you open up the presents this morning, have a great breakfast with the family, maybe you say, okay, we got to get out of the house. But your shopping choices, they are kind of limited today.
Both Walmart and Target are closed for Christmas, as are a lot of other retailers, as employees spend time with their families. Expect convenience stores to be busy, as Circle K and 7-Eleven will be open as usual. Supermarkets like Safeway and Albertsons could have limited hours, so shoppers should check beforehand. Walgreens and CVS may also have limited hours. You still might be able to grab something at Starbucks or McDonald's, depending on the location. Banks and post offices will be closed today, and most FedEx and UPS stores are also closed for the holiday. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, in a moment, we're going to tell you about this huge snowstorm, the first big one at any one of the season that's going to come in tomorrow afternoon into Saturday. But first, 5:16, it's time for a little sports. Filling in for Justin Ellick during this hour is Gabriel Jake.
Merry Christmas, Noam. Not much doing last night. No scores to report. But we do have a full Christmas slate of basketball and football today. Heading to the hardwood first, the Cavaliers visit the Knicks at the Garden. That takes place at noon. Jalen Brunson and co. favorites for the second straight year. 5.5 points this time around. Brunson missed Tuesday's game with an ankle injury, but is expected to make his return to action. Let's take a look at the football schedule. Of course, Christmas Day games, a new tradition in the NFL. A couple of important games today that can shape the playoff picture. The Cowboys take on the Commanders in Washington at 1. The Lions visit the Vikings at 4:30, and the Chiefs host the Broncos at 8:15 tonight. The Lions need a win to keep playoff hopes alive. The Broncos want a win here to maintain that first round bye. The Cowboys and Commanders, though, they're out of the playoffs. Reminder that these games will take place on Netflix for the second straight year. College sports might now be paying more than the pros. James Nagy is leaving a professional Turkish league team and signing with Baylor University basketball. Maybe time to reevaluate how college athletes are paid. Gabriel Jake, 77 WABC Sports.
Yeah, it is interesting. Someone's leaving the pros, a pro league overseas, to go play for a college because they'll make more money. Yeah, maybe there is something wrong with the way they're paying those college players. All right, 5:17, traffic transit on the 7s. You knew there would have to be a problem. It couldn't be all clear on Christmas Day. Let's start in Queens, where there is an accident that's blocking one lane. LIE eastbound, approaching exit 23. That's the Main Street exit. In Newark, it's a disabled vehicle that's causing problems, blocking the shoulder on the New Jersey Turnpike. This is the outer roadway, northbound at exit 14. Otherwise, if you're up early this morning, maybe heading out for breakfast with the family, things are fine. If you're coming into the city to see the tree, the George Washington Bridge, I know a lot of people do that very early to beat the crowds because the tree's lit up all day today. So George Washington Bridge, upper, lower levels, both okay. The Lincoln Holland, no problem at all. If you're commuting in, there's one issue on New Jersey Transit, and it's on the Maine Bergen County line, so you want to check that out before you head out the door. On the LIE, everything A-OK. They're on a weekend schedule, so make sure you know that as you walk out. And Metro North is on a special schedule. On the subways down below, it's a Sunday schedule today, but everything is running A-OK at this early hour. All right, 5:18. New York City issuing a travel advisory for tomorrow night into Saturday. The Office of Emergency Management says an after-Christmas storm is expected to bring 3 to 7 inches of snow here to the city, creating potentially hazardous travel conditions. Most of the snow is going to come in overnight, so we'll start to see the snow later in the day tomorrow, and then the heavy stuff overnight into the morning. So Mayor Adams urging New Yorkers to stay off the roads early Saturday morning into Saturday, if possible, to allow the workers, the snow plows, to do what they need to do to get the snow off the streets. In New Jersey, winter storm watches are being issued for 16 New Jersey counties ahead of the post-Christmas storm. The National Weather Service now says large parts of New Jersey could see 4 to 8 inches of snow Friday into Saturday. So everybody's trying to figure out how they're going to get ready. I mean, it's easy. If you don't have a shovel, go buy one. If you don't have salt, maybe you should do so. A hardware store up in the Bronx, William Padone, he owns Van Nest Hardware in the Bronx, and he says, if you don't have all the snow supplies, come to him. He has them.
We also have ice melts, everything from rock salt, as you see here, to calcium chloride, to Shore Pet friendly.
Yeah, he says it's always better to be prepared than not to be, which is smart.
If it does get heavier, it'll start to accumulate. So I think when you wake up Saturday morning, we'll have some clearing to do.
Yeah, so when you talk to people in that neighborhood around the hardware store, they're mostly happy about seeing a snowstorm.
Icy roads, yes, and most of all, just trying to get all that snow off, because some cars, if they don't clean the streets, a lot of cars and trucks will slip and hit another car.
All right, so keep it here to 77 WABC for everything you need to know about the snowstorm. The good thing about it is it really is a Friday into Saturday storm on a week when most people are not working, so most of you will just be able to go out and enjoy it once it falls or as it is falling. That is not the case, by the way, out in California. Torrential rains drenching most of California. Millions are under some sort of flood watch or have been under a flood watch since yesterday. National Weather Service's Ariel Cohen says this type of storm hits California once every 10 years or so.
But what makes this storm unique is that the brunt of the rainfall is expected to occur right through Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
Los Angeles could get about 14 inches of rain, or I should say Los Angeles normally gets about 14 inches of rain a year, but this storm is expected to dump about 8 inches just over the next couple days. Just tells you how serious it really is.
This is the type of storm system that affects the area approximately every 5 to 10 years or so.
And the deadly atmospheric river is triggering dangerous flash flooding. It has already killed one person in Redding, California. Flooding happening right now in San Bernardino County. Several homes in its path. The flooding happening in Wrightwood. We watched on last night, yesterday, fire police responding. But what's happened is these roads have been covered with water and mud. It's been hard to reach some people.
All units are Metro 304 on the Mesquite Mesa Vista incident. We successfully extricated the victim. We do have him currently sitting in a truck.
Yeah, officials say they've responded to several swift water rescue calls. Actually, it's now more than several. This was several as of last night.
Question after you decide where you want to put these rescue victims. Yeah, SO's stuck in this traffic with me. When they get there, we'll have them handle that. I copy that.
Yeah, you're listening to a little bit of the police radio as that was going on last night. Traffic is terrible, which is making it difficult for a medical response. So again, in Southern California, parts of Northern California, they're asking people to just stay off the roads on this Christmas Day. 5:23, Ukrainian President Zelensky now says he's willing to withdraw troops from eastern Ukraine to create a demilitarized zone if Russia is willing to do the same thing. Correspondent Molly Hunter reports it would be part of a revised 20-point peace plan that is being drawn up by Ukraine and the U.S.
It's really the first sign or the first hint from President Zelensky. We've heard of his willingness to compromise on the Donbass region. Now, other points include mainstays of Ukraine's positions, including sovereignty, security guarantees from European allies and from NATO.
It's not clear if Russia will go along with the plan, which is still reviewing, but a Kremlin spokesman said yesterday that Russia's main demands are well known to the U.S.
A day after a major Russian attack across the country, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has shared a 20-point peace proposal. He has suggested he's open to withdrawing troops from eastern Ukraine to create a demilitarized zone if Russia agrees to do the same. This draft is far from final. Of course, the Russians need to respond. They have not officially responded. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov took questions earlier today. He did not respond to the specific points in the plan, but he said that Russia's main demands are well known to their colleagues in the U.S.
I think the White House thought this would be a little bit easier to negotiate. It has not been, but they have kept at it. A Trump-backed candidate being declared the winner of the presidential election in Honduras. Nasri Asfora gets the nod after weeks of delay. Election officials say the conservative has won just about 40% of the vote, which edged out a right-center candidate. It took more than 3 weeks to get these votes counted amid some technical problems. now allegations of fraud. Hundreds of thousands of ballots had to be counted by hand. The U.S. imposing travel bans now on 5 European tech regulators it accuses of unfairly targeting American companies. Correspondent William Denslow reports the list includes former European Union Commissioner Thierry Breton.
Breton helped shape the EU's Digital Services Act, which has targeted some of the US's biggest tech companies on grounds including stifling competition. The EU maintains that it treats all companies fairly, but those seeking to operate in Europe must play by its rules.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio accuses the Europeans involved of censoring social media platforms and suppressing American viewpoints.
Breton is just one of a number of people accused of censoring US social media platforms and handed a visa ban. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the ideologues in Europe have led organized efforts to coerce American platforms to punish American viewpoints they oppose. Breton has hit back at his visa ban, questioning whether the McCarthy witch hunt era seen during the Cold War has returned to the US.
Yeah, but this month, Digital Service Act, which was used by European Union to fine Elon Musk's ex-Twitter platform $140 million, they said, for misleading practices. Musk claimed the fine was just for refusing to censor content that the European Union did not like. 526, most Americans are unhappy with Congress, the White House, the Supreme Court, and the Federal Reserve. That covers just about everybody, doesn't it?
That's according to a new Gallup poll that found just 17% approve of the job that Congress is doing. The poll finds President Trump's approval rating at 36%, though it's 89% among Republicans. Only Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell and Secretary of State Marco Rubio had approval ratings higher than 40%. 3 in 4 Americans say they're unhappy with the direction the country is going in. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
Experts continue to warn about this new flu variant. Seems like a lot of people around here have been getting it. Not the super flu one, but just the flu in general. This super flu, though, is starting to spread. We're seeing it, and it's not covered by the flu shot this year. So there's not a whole lot you can do about it except maybe, I don't know, not go to large crowds.
All about to start having more holiday gatherings, and there's more travel.
But of course, people do want to get together, so they're willing to do so. That's Dr. Erica Pan with the California Department of Public Health. Of course, she says this time of year is always prime time for flu to spread because people travel and they go to see family for the holidays.
When you're around more people and you can get exposed to more viruses, you can still get sick. But the vaccine helps keep the illness mild.
Yeah, so the key they're saying here is even if the variant is not covered by the vaccine, you should still roll up in your sleeve and get it. It's not too late to get the vaccine because you'll get more mild symptoms if you do catch the flu.
Thanks for listening to the News Hour with Noam Laden. You can hear the News Hour with Noam Laden weekday mornings at 5 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and busts. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.